Hi, welcome back. This is my Booktube haul for September. It may be a little long. I apologize only slightly and just a little bit in advance because book hauls can be big or book hauls can be small, but I tried really hard and then I ended up with a used book sale and things fell apart from there. So I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to start with the used book sale, then I'm going to do the Goodwill, and then I'm going to do the stuff that came in the mail, etc. So, used book sales that benefit the environment are always fun. This particular one benefited the, it was out in Kingston, Washington, which benefits the Stillwater Community Center and all of their work, and they rehabilitate birds of prey, and I enjoy them, so I had no problem spending my $8 there. And again, $8. So one of the books I picked up is an interweave lace knitting book, and I will pretty much buy all the interweave things, and it still has its Borders tag on it. I never shopped at Borders. They closed well before my time, but originally this book was $21 and I paid 50 cents for it, so I feel like I won. And it's Traditional Knitted Lace Shawls by Martha Waterman. It has some shaping, some traditional outlines. Interweave is pretty good with backstories, just identifying different shapes. And then we've got the various patterns, so you can make your own if you want, and what they look like. Edging, shale patterns. I really like shale. And then at the back there's, of course, step-by-step instructions for various shawls that you can do and how to wear them, because goodness knows when you have a lot of shawls you forget how to wear them all, caring for them, how to fix them. Basically just a great all-around knitted lace book. Meg Swanson blurbs it at the back, and that is Elizabeth Zimmerman's daughter, so of course how can you go wrong when Meg Swanson says you're good? You can't. Then I picked up, this actually looks exactly like my copy of Bury Me at Wounded Knee. This is The Road to Wounded Knee by Robert Burnett, tribal chairman of the Rosebud Sioux, and John Coster. And it's super old, and it, like, my copy of Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee literally has the same, it's the same kind of paper. It has this weird feeling and look to it, and it's super old. So I'm looking forward to reading this because I enjoyed, well, I didn't enjoy, I felt I was very emotionally wrought reading Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, but I think that this would also be a good book to read on the subject. So I will read the blurb on the back for you. Wounded Knee 1 in 1890 proved the United States Army was willing to murder Indians to suppress their religious beliefs and secure their land. Wounded Knee 2 in 1973 proved that Indian people still have the courage and faith, and that at least some of them would rather die than submit to another century of disgrace and penury. Penury? Penury? In this shocking, agonizing, powerful book, Robert Burnett, the tribal chairman of the Rosebud Sioux Reservation, and John Coster, a white journalist who has covered Indian activism, raise impassioned, angry voices to tell the truth about Wounded Knee, why it happened, what led up to it, and what should and must happen now. So this book was written, and it was like $1.95 back in the day. Back in the day, when were you published? 1974. So this was published right after the second Wounded Knee. So it should be interesting to read from that time period and perspective. Then I picked up a Thomas King book I haven't read. I have read Greengrass for Running Water. I have not read The Inconvenient Indian. I do want to pick that one up. This is Truth and Brightwater. And it's the story of Tecumseh and Lum, young boys living in Truth, a small American town, in Brightwater, the reserve just across the border and over the river. It's got blurbs from the Globe and Mail, the National Post, the Gazette of Montreal. This is put out, this is a Canadian imprint, it's Harper Perennial Canada. And yeah, Thomas King is basically Canada adopted him, so I know he's American. Cherokee and Greek. This is from 1999. So I'll read it and see. I wasn't a real big fan of Greengrass Running Water, if I may say. But that doesn't mean I won't enjoy other books by him. They gave me a very scratchy bag. Also, this has a limit on it because I have to take my cat to the vet. Then I picked up The History of the Donner Party, A Tragedy of the Sierra by C.F. McGlashan from Stanford University Press, because how can you pass up a book about the Donner Party? You can't. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain it, but it's just about the Donner Party, where they traveled, various other facts. I'm sure it was used for a university purpose. Copyright 1940, renewed in 1968. Revised edition from 1947. With forward notes and bibliography by George H. Hinkle and Bliss McGlashan Hinkle. The Donner Party. Because who can get enough of the Donner Party? And this guy, who is an international bestseller, and it just looked really interesting to me, is Bloodlands, Europe Between Hitler and Stalin by Timothy Snyder. Named a Best Book of the Year by The Atlantic, The Economist, Financial Times, New Republic, History Today, The Independent, London, New Statesman, Seattle Times, Telegraph, Jewish Forward, and Reason Magazine. Americans think of World War II as the good war, but this view overlooks the horrors perpetrated by America's own ally, the Soviet Union. In deliberate killing policies carried out over 12 years, the Soviet and Nazi regimes killed 14 million people in a zone of death between Berlin and Moscow. At war's end, these bloodlands fell behind the Iron Curtain, leaving their history in darkness. In Bloodlands, acclaimed historian Timothy Snyder offers an assiduously researched, deeply humane, utterly definitive account of the central tragedy of modern history. Yeah, that sounds up my alley. It's huge, it's massive, it pulls no punches at being a chunkster, and the notes are intense, which makes me a happy panda. Let me just find the end of the notes. Okay. Okay, there's the conclusion. Okay, so the supplementals are this. This is all supplemental. So there's actually 400 pages of book, supplementals, including the numbers, the terminologies, the abstract, the bibliography, the notes, this is insane. So looking forward to that. So those are what I picked up at the used book sale, which, you know, is a used book sale. It's what you do. And that was $8.50. So really, can you go wrong? No, you can't. Okay. Yes, there are 3 piles here. You're just gonna have to deal with me. And so I got this book for free. Rogers Reads actually pointed me in the direction of getting an advanced reading copy of this. It is Heartberries by Therese Marie Mailhot, who graduated from the Institute of American Indian Arts with an MFA in fiction. So this is about a woman in the Pacific Northwest, I believe on the Seabird, yes, the Seabird Island Indian Reservation, which it's up by the border, so it's either in Canada or it's in the United States, but it's really close to the border with British Columbia. And she has a rough life, she survives it, she has PTSD, she is bipolar. This is about her learning about herself. It's a memoir. It's got an introduction by Sherman Alexie, which is probably why I was like, ooh, yeah. The Iliad for the Indigenous. It is the story of one of the it is the story of one First Nation woman and her geographical, emotional, and theological search for meaning in a colonial world. So this is going high up there on my to-read list. And then I won this one on Library Thing. And I really wanted to read it. I would have bought it had I not gotten it on Library Thing, but because I do have a free Pussy Riot shirt, so I'm completely tipping my hat that I will probably love it. It's Riot Days by Maria Aleokina, also known as Masha of Pussy Riot. And so this book is a memoir of the whole insanity that occurred, the lead up to the protest in the cathedral, the subsequent trials, etc., etc., and evocative, wry, laser sharp, and laconically funny. Aleokina's account shows a young woman may face tyranny and return with proof that against all odds even one person can force its retreat. I've watched many interviews with her and many documentaries on Pussy Riot, and I think it's all really interesting, so looking forward to reading that. So these all were purchased at Goodwill. Because hey, I can't stop myself. I got The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. I think it's fair to say we all understand that it's a story of a Boleyn, and it's by Philippa Gregory, who writes all this stuff and writes all of the books about this stuff. So I've been watching The Tudors on Netflix, and apparently it was bought at Borders, and everything I get is from Borders. So yeah, I've been watching The Tudors. I feel like reading about Tudors. It's big, it's huge, it's massive, and apparently I'm only buying books that are massive these days. Because look at what I'm reading, and then look at how big these are. Okay, and then this guy. And I will say I already own a copy of Les Miserables. But my copy is abridged, and it was a gift from my brother, and I've always kind of felt like I was missing out because it was abridged. This is the unabridged copy put out by Penguin. Translated with an introduction by Norman Denny. And this is not the abridged version. This also includes The Convent as an Abstract Idea and Argo. So I am looking forward to rereading this because I do love Hugo. I'm one of those people. But again, it's massive, so I may wait until 2018 because I'm still reading War and Peace, and this is 1,232 pages. But it's so pretty. So pretty. Then I picked up, again, I said I was having a moment of Tudors. So I got Mary, Queen of Scotland and the Isles by Margaret George, author of the Memoirs of Cleopatra. This is a massive, huge, honkin' beastie of a book. But I look forward to it. It's 870 pages. Clearly the books I read are going to go down in scope. Like, it's going to be like, I read 2 books. I read a book. I picked up Cloud Atlas because I've heard a lot of David Mitchell, and a postmodern visionary who is also the master of styles and genre, David Mitchell combines flat-out adventure and Nabokovian love of puzzles, a keen eye for character, a taste for mind-bending philosophical and scientific speculation in the tradition of Umberto Eco and Philip K. Dick. The result is brilliantly original fiction that reveals how desperate people connect, how their fates intertwine, and how their souls drift across time like clouds across the sky. Okay, I don't like Philip K. Dick, but I do enjoy Nabokov, so I'm hoping something there. I don't know what I'm hoping. I got In Cold Blood because it was like $2.99 by Truman Capote, which, as we all know, is about a murder. And come on, it had to be done. It had to be done. Since Nonfiction November is coming up, I had no problem picking up H is for Hawk by Helena MacDonald, which is a New York Times bestseller, the Costa Book of the Year. It's won many things. And here's a picture of her with a hawk. So, I understand that the premise of this is a woman who is doing something with hawks. And that's all I really need to know, because unless she's going to kill the hawk, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. And a book olive talks about it like crazy, so it can't be bad, right? It can't be. I picked up the Eyre Affair, the Jane Eyre Affair, by Jasper Fforde. Meet Thursday Next. She's part Bridget Jones, part Nancy Drew, and part Dirty Harry. Quite frankly, it was $2.99 and it had Eyre in the title. I figured I would give it a shot. It's not very big. It's 374 pages. And the premise is that this Thursday Next is running through novels trying to get Jane Eyre and put her back into the novel. For some reason. Whatever. I'm in. I'm all in. The last thing I got at Goodwill was The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Master and Man by Leo Tolstoy. A new translation with introduction notes by Anne Pasternak Slater. It's $1.99. And I like Russians. Now, these ones are going to be in no particular order, but they are, and I will explain where I got them from. So, this one was a gift from my husband. It's N by E. Nesbitt. It's 5 Children and It. I think M is down there. So after the debacle, I actually did pick up book 2. We will probably be starting these in October or November. I was down at, there was a fair down by the waterfront here, and I went, and there's a used bookstore, and I picked up Visions of Cody by Jack Kerouac, and this is actually the second copy I have because I forgot I had one. So there. And Reservation Blues by Sherman Alexie, and there's a great review by Big Al Books about this, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. It's his first novel, I believe, and I'm apparently making it my life's goal while I live in the Pacific Northwest to read all of Sherman Alexie's work. A good friend of mine from back home actually bought this and had it sent to me because it's a book that inspired her when she was a child. I've never read it. It looks amazing. It's called Stranger from the Depths by Jerry Turner. Look at that guy. Yeah. I don't even need to say more. It doesn't say what it's about on the back either. I just know that I'm going to like it because she's cool and she's got great taste. My book of the month that I picked this month was Emma in the Night, which I'm gathering was completely wrong because everybody else is getting everything else. But this is the one I wanted because I didn't like Celeste Ng's last work. I really feel no need to read it now. The new one. This is a murder mystery thing. I think I just picked it up because I was like, ooh, that'll work for a quick read at night. So, Emma in the Night. This guy... Hold on. I gotta see if this... Yes, this comes off. Good. I hate stickers. Why do they put stickers on things? I picked this up sheerly because I love Lizzie Borden, and everybody I've heard from it says it's amazing, and then Steve had it in the TBRBY for this month, and so I picked up See What I Have Done by Sarah Schmidt, and basically I had to haul it before I could read it, so now I can read it, and we'll see how that goes. Don't usually pick up hardcovers that aren't book of the month, so unless they're like, you know, these. And then the other two that I got were Native Speaker by Chang Rae Lee, which is L, and Herman Melville's Moby Dick or the Whale, which is M. And that is all the books I've gotten so far. I'm about to start on reading book C because I finished book B and I'm no longer in a book club to have to stall it with my husband. So I'm reading Willa Carter's O Pioneers. So I have LMN. I'm on C and I own up to N, so this should be interesting. But he vows to get me the whole thing and I trust that he will. So yeah, I gotta stop going to book sales. There's one on the 21st of October and I'm gonna try and not buy anything until then except for whatever my husband gets me. So here's to hoping. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads. They are all Sadie Ruin, and I will see you next month.